I think the audience might be astonished to hear this, because when people hear you speak, you're articulate, you're well informed, you have a grasp of so many sources, references. You suffer from dyslexia.
Yeah, pretty pronounced. And it's a way of explaining my answer to the education question, perhaps, and my bias to self-paced learning and individualized learning. Because I basically, that was my track. Because I had an exceptional education because I had alternative education. I had special needs education. I was in the parking lot in the temporary shed with other kids. Because I couldn't be mainstreamed and bounced around many schools.
You have trouble reading?
In very difficult time reading. Spelling is laughable. My writing makes your doctor's writing look proficient and clear and precise. Yeah, it's been my identity, because I think it allows you overcompensate in different ways, and you find a creativity gene that makes up for the areas where you're not necessarily. You're not as gifted. It was also, for me, it was a self-esteem issue. My smart sister, and then the dumb brother, and trying to realize that maybe I had gifts that weren't the traditional gifts that a lot of kids have. So look, I have an enormous special needs education. This gentleman's given his life to. These things are profoundly important to me, and taking care of these kids that are falling behind. And you look at our prison system, a number of folks that share the same same struggles when they were growing up with dyslexia and learning disabilities. It's off the charts. So we've got a lot of work to do to take care of these kids.
You either wind up in prison or in the governor mansion.
I know, I don't know if it's that black and white either, but yeah, no. Look, some of my biggest heroes, Richard Branson is one of my big heroes. Chuck Schwab is a friend of mine now, and all dyslexic. Some of the most gifted business leaders share dyslexia in common. It's actually an extraordinary attribute for a lot of business leadership. And there's something to that. In fact, Malcolm Gladwell in his last book did a whole chapter on the disproportionate number of successful entrepreneurs that share dyslexia in common as an attribute, not a liability. So I'd like to think about it in those terms, but I know how difficult it is for parents. And for my mother, there was nothing more difficult raising me and struggling to address the needs of a young son.